Testing 1, 2, 1, 2. Power on. Board functioning at 100%. Microphone detected. Storage accessible and ready to receive content. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Spectrum Talks.
Alright guys, welcome back to another episode of Spectrum Talks. Today we're talking about travel. One of the guys here in the studio today, Brad, just got back from a trip to Florida. He was at Universal Studios and Disney World. So we're going to hear from him.
Oh my, where did these boys come from?
We're going to hear from him first about how that was, and then we'll open the floor up to discussion on, other travels people have taken and just traveling in general, really. I guess I'm on camera now, too, so that's great. All right. So, yeah, Brad, if you wouldn't mind sliding up to this mic here.
All right.
So it's Brad's first time in an airplane. That's pretty awesome.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
I'm surprised.
Yeah. That's how I want to start off.
Cool. So how was the experience?
I gotta say, it was fun to be up in the sky for the first time.
Yeah.
Yep. It felt. Yeah. Yep. And
Were there a lot of clouds or a few clouds?
Yep. Of course, when I was getting above the clouds, I was mostly seeing like pitch white.
Okay.
That didn't look like clouds.
Did it clear up a little bit so you could see the land from way down?
Exactly.
Cool.
Yep.
Were you up high enough that, like, at one point when you looked out the window, you could just see clouds below you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there was a time that it just looked like snow.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
I gotta say that the weirdest flight I was ever on was a morning, like 7 a.m. from St. Louis to Orlando, and so you get up. It was like dark, still. So I guess it wouldn't have been 7. It was like 5, I guess. I was little, so I didn't have a good concept of time yet. But I remember it was really dark as we took off. And then it got even darker as we were in the clouds, and I was looking out the window because I thought it was cool. And then we broke through the clouds, and I nearly got blinded because the sun's already up, up in the stratosphere. So I broke through, and it just hit me all at once, and I was like, I can't see. It was weird. And then it was a strange flight.
Rumble, thunder, and the rumble.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, something about the sun. Well,
What?
did we need to be quiet, John?
Yeah.
He's making sound effects for us.
Yeah, no, keep going, Brad.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So from what you said, Alex, about the sun, something like that was happened to me. A little bit, because I wasn't really blinded much. I realized how bright it would be up in the sky.
Everybody else? Has everybody else been on an airplane before?
I have.
Cool.
I have.
Okay. John, you haven't?
Yeah, I have.
You okay? Yeah, Riley?
No, I used the shirt.
Going off of Alex's weirdest flight story, my weirdest flight ever, flights actually, my weirdest flights were actually on Thanksgiving Day 3 years ago. I've never traveled on the day of a holiday, so that was just weird for me.
Cool.
So you only flew at night then?
No, I flew during the day. It was just weird flying on the day of an actual holiday.
Oh, okay.
Anybody been on a private jet?
No.
I think so.
I've been on the GA jet, or
Probably
GA plane.
Yeah, where you bypass lines and just show up and get on the plane. And
Right.
I wish.
It's fun. Done it
I've
twice.
been on a Ford Tri-Motor in Oshkosh.
Right?
Lucky.
You mean at EAA Airvan?
Yes. I went last summer.
Yeah, well, the stretch Lexus is plenty big enough for a private jet, I believe.
Private jets are overrated.
No, they're not. You're gonna get all the room.
Spoken like somebody who hasn't been on
That's
one.
right.
Oh.
Hey,
Uh-oh.
before you start,
Matt,
I
don't
will
go
have
off.
you know.
Don't go
Yeah.
off. Do not go off.
man, I can't. I
Don't
wish
go
I could.
off
I
today.
can't.
You don't need to. So, yeah. So travel. So you went to Disney World.
Yep.
We are talking after this
before I get to
podcast.
that, I was gonna say,
It was just a joke, man.
yeah. So a few years ago, I did actually see a plane before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in Smyrna.
Cool.
Yep, but I don't know if that counts as a private jet. But
I like
Been in a Malibu.
I like traveling at night too. That's always fun. It's relaxing.
Yep.
Yep.
And I can't stay awake on a plane. Man, they turn the engine on and I'm like instantly. So, but
yeah.
See, I'm the
How to put Dieter to sleep at work? Just turn on plane engine
just
sound.
even think about it. I'm like, I'm out.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
You know, we gotta test that later.
Yeah.
and
Somebody
last
had to
flight I
put on
had,
speaker.
we had a kid that literally was the spawn of hell. It was screaming
Hey,
at the top
we're
of
good.
its lungs. The mother did zero
Oh my god.
to stop it. Just let it scream.
Was she just sitting there with popcorn or something?
She was just ignoring the kid, and I mean, there were people coming by to offer to help to take the kid, and nobody, if she wouldn't let him, and it's like, lady, do you not understand? Luckily I had my noise canceling headphones, so I didn't care. But
There you go.
there were some people who were just, like ready to kill. So
That
if
is.
you're flying, be courteous of other people.
Yep.
So
I yeah.
Yeah.
There was I don't even know, like, because you can't do anything about this one, but there was we were on a flight, well, me and my college were on a flight. We went to the pro-life march in DC, and it was a flight attendant that just, and I know it wasn't her fault, so no one could really be mad, but the way she breathed, like, if you were at the back of the plane, you could hear it at the front of the plane. Like, it was like a,
right.
like, but it wasn't snoring. It was just how she breathed, and it was just like, you knew the food cart was coming because you could just hear it get louder and
Right.
louder. And she came back, and it was just like, oh, please.
I got stuck on the tarmac for an hour, and it was no fun.
Oh, I have you beat there. So the last flight that I took in February of last year, I was headed down to Florida. No, I was headed back from Florida. And in that... I'm sorry. I know my destinations.
He's making stories up.
No,
as
I'm
he
not.
goes
No, I'm
on.
not. No, I'm not. It was.
Shots fired.
It's my most recent flight. You know I was there. It was my one-day flight to Atlanta. On the way down, I was supposed to depart at 9:45 and get there at 10:15 because of time zone switches. But I was on the tarmac for, not even joking, 2 hours because there was some kind of security thing that happened at the Atlanta airport, like a
Right.
bomb threat or something, and they shut down all flights, wouldn't let anyone in or out, and the captain was just like, so we don't know when we're taking off, but enjoy a free movie on the screens, and it was just like, okay, I mean, thanks for the movie,
Right.
but I'm trying to get to Atlanta, you know?
I always carry a bunch of camera gear when I go through, so I'm just used to having to sometimes be patted down and checked out. But there was one time when the guy was looking at my bag, and I was like, "It's camera gear." He goes, "Yeah, I know." And he runs it back through, and runs it back through, and runs it back through, and he waves over somebody to come over and look at it, and I'm just like, "This never happened." Next thing you know, a cop comes over and stands next to me. They keep checking the bag. I'm like, "Dude, it's just camera gear." He goes, "Yeah." So he's quiet, and then all of a sudden they tell me to come over to the side. So basically, I have a carry permit, and I have pistols that I carry with me, and I had lost a magazine clip.
Oh, no.
Lost it for 2 years. So it was in another compartment. I never go in.
Right.
You are
So
irresponsible.
they found my clip for me. So
Right.
man.
Did they take it? Or
So
how
they
did that
basically
work
said
out?
I could go back in the back room with them and sign some forms, and they would mail it back to me.
Mhm.
Or they could just keep it and I can go on my way. I'm like, I'm not going in the back room with anybody. So yeah, y'all just keep it. I'm out of here. So it was
Right.
all fine. But I was like, oh man, that's where that thing went. So
Dang.
kind of funny.
Crazy.
But Dave, you're being quiet.
Mm-hmm.
You know you're being quiet. So that's good.
I know.
What kind of packing do you have that you end up with ammo or in camera gear?
Well, sometimes I'm in little crazy alleys or weird parts of town, so I always carry my gun because I'm gonna have a few $1,000s worth of gear on me.
Have you ever seen that movie, Airplane?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had all these.
That's a funny movie.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna talk anyways, so you guys can stop me and tackle me. I don't care. But
Don't
I'm
call
gonna
me
say
Shirley.
my piece.
Don't call me Shirley.
Yeah, I am gonna call you Shirley. Because I want to first off by saying Well, the crazy thing of one of my trips, we were heading back to the Bahamas. We get there, bad thunderstorm. We were flying back on a turboprop. I don't know if you're familiar with these smaller aircraft that have jet turboprop engines.
What was it, a Saab 340?
I believe so. It was one of those.
Silver.
Yeah.
I guarantee you it was silver.
Yeah. We land. They cancel our flight back to Nashville, Tennessee. So I was like to the attendant, I don't want to sleep in the airport. Could you get me a hotel or something? They give us the top floor. We have what we have. And then we try to go back. They divert our flight on the way back to Nashville, actually diverts to Texas. So we go all the way to Texas.
Oh, Lord.
We get trapped in Texas. I find this mice. I hold it up in front of my mother. She yells out a blood-curdling scream. I will never.
No.
I literally dangled it.
No.
I literally dangled it in front of her. And I'm not gonna scream, but she was terrified, and my dad was just like getting ice cream, acting like she didn't know us. Or didn't know what was going on. And so after that, we finally get on a plane, and then we get diverted to somewhere else, but it took us a whole 48 hours to get back to Nashville, Tennessee.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's how I've been everywhere.
I've had to string up a hammock in airports before.
I had him put me up in a hotel.
Yeah, I don't like confrontation, and I like my hammock. I carry it like all the time. It's strapped to my backpack, and I think it's actually really comfy. So if you find the right pillars, anywhere in an airport, just string it up and pop a squat and wake up in 8 hours.
Do you carry a pillow with you as well, or just the hammock alone?
Hammock works, man. I've fallen asleep in it many times.
Going off of what Matt was saying with playing horror stories, I too was coming back from the Bahamas, and both flights were okay, but getting to the airport was kind of stressful because this was in July, just before Hurricane Dorian hit. So I was not myself and just had a complete meltdown and threw my backpack saying I do not want to leave here, because usually when you're on a trip and it's getting to the last day, you just want to get home. But this trip to the Bahamas, I did not want to leave. Call me crazy, but...
Crazy. You said call you crazy.
Well, thanks, guys.
Your point?
But... but I literally was throwing a big-ass fit in front of everyone.
Oh, my God.
So... I mean, throwing my backpack around and... But this was before even leaving the Bahamas. We finally leave the Bahamas and get back to U.S. soil, go through customs. My brother and I take a wrong turn and get outside of customs and get to the international bag claim. So we had to then go to the American counter and pay money to check another bag, because we had paid money in the Bahamas to check a bag, and we had to check a bag, and it basically was just the travel day from hell. Cause
cool. Yeah, I flew to the Bahamas, never made it. I went to the future for a bit. Came back.
How?
Electromagnetic storm.
Yeah.
A vortex appeared out of
triangle.
It could be worse. It could have been like Langoliers, went to nowhere.
That's right.
Talking about the Bermuda Triangle for just a second.
They did
a deep submarine exploration with like a drone submarine, and they found this really weird, totally glass pyramid down at the bottom with some kind of natural based light inside, and they're pretty sure that whatever it is what causes all of the instrument disturbances and stuff in the
Well, there's
Bermuda
also
Triangle.
too for ships flipping over. There's a big bunch of methane pockets, and
And UFO
when they
sightings.
release a lot of methane,
Right,
it
it
changes
just-
the buoyancy, and
right.
ships just flip over. And
Don't forget
Damage.
UFO sightings, USOs, unidentified underwater objects.
true. Cool. So that's our travel tips. Anybody else traveling anytime soon?
No.
I'm going back home for Easter.
I'm doing a tour bus in
Yeah.
July.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Going to Florida in July.
Easter's
Following
Easter's
Brad.
next.
Where's the tour?
Yeah, Easter's next
One
month.
in Michigan. I'm following a country artist.
I said Easter's next month.
Yeah. You gonna dress up like the Easter Bunny?
Yeah.
Oh God.
I don't want to be a fat one.
If I bought a, let's do that. I'll buy an Easter Bunny suit. You put it on. We'll have you holding a big cigar, and we'll take photos. I think that'd be awesome.
Or have you hop around like, oh God.
No, that'd be
Big
Riley.
John
That'd be Riley.
hopping.
That'd be Riley.
What about Raleigh over here?
He can just be an egg.
He could be a horn. He could be a horns nest.
A hornet's nest?
What?
Yeah, the Easter hornet nest. If you
Yeah,
want to
Easter
that.
horns nest.
Cool.
Y'all are
Okay,
crazy.
well, let's cut it because Riley's or Dustin's gonna get back to work.
All right,
The rest of
everybody.
us have to goof off. So.
Tune in next time for something weird. Talk to you later.